Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ward. And I'm proud to say that Ward is my very good friend. I didn't know Ward until I reached the U.S. Senate in 2001. My son Eric called me, and he's a very, very good friend of Ward and Chris's son, Andy Brim, and he said, Dad, Andy's father, you don't know, has been nominated by President Bush to chair this very important African Development Corporation Foundation, and impeccably well qualified for the position. He's been to Africa countless times, and really a superb human being in all respects, and he's, needs help getting through the nomination process and confirmed by the Senate. And I said, well, great, he's in Minnesota. I'd be glad to do whatever I possibly can. And Eric paused and he said, there's just one more thing you probably should know, Dad. He was Senator Rod Graham's finance chairman. But it proves, as you said, that friendship transcends political differences, and just very, very honored to play your friendship and Chris's, and Andy and Eric remain good friends, and I'm blessed for that. The theme of today's prayer breakfast, unity around Jesus versus the disunity that takes place around religion, has been a central issue, not only in our time, but also throughout the course of history. Jesus preached love, acceptance, and forgiveness. Yet ever since his death, too many of his followers have preached hatred, discrimination, even war, all in his name. As someone said, there's enough religion in the world to make people hate one another. There's not enough religion to make people love one another. For centuries, people have invoked their God, their Messiah, and their religious beliefs to justify persecuting, torturing, and murdering people of different religious faiths. Sunnis and Shiites, Muslims and Jews, Protestants and Catholics, all of them claiming that God is on their side, claiming even that God wills them to commit their atrocities. Recent pictures of ISIS grotesquely beheading innocent human beings just because they're Christians are too awful to comprehend. How could anyone commit such vile atrocities and then claim that they're acting in the name of God? Contrast their attempts to justify their depravity with President Abraham Lincoln's wisdom, when during the Civil War, a northern minister said to him that he trusted the Lord was on our side. President Lincoln replied, I know that the Lord is always on the side of the right, so it is my constant anxiety and prayer that I and this nation should be on the Lord's side. Religious dogmatism is another common cause of social discord. Some people insist that their rights to their religious convictions supersede their responsibilities as citizens in a lawful society. They forget Jesus' teaching to render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and render unto God the things that are God's. You probably recall the biblical story recounted in 3 of the 4 Gospels, in which the Pharisees tried to trap Jesus by asking him whether Jews should have to pay the taxes imposed by the ruling Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. They thought Jesus would oppose paying those taxes, upon which they could hand him over to Pilate, accuse him of sedition. But Jesus divined their evil intent. He requested a Roman coin that could be used to pay the taxes, and then asked the Pharisees, whose image is on it? When they replied, Caesar, Jesus said, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. The First Amendment to our U.S. Constitution makes half of that distinction by protecting religions from government interferences. It says that, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. In an 1802 letter, Thomas Jefferson expanded the scope of the First Amendment to, quote, building a wall of separation between church and state. The U.S. Supreme Court has since cited Jefferson's metaphor to opine that our Constitution intends a reciprocal separation of church and state from each other. Our country's founders well understood the dangers of allowing government interference with religion, but they also recognized the potential dangers from religion's intrusions into the responsibilities of government. They saw the cruelties and oppressions inflicted by intolerant theocracies. Nevertheless, that wall of separation between the dictates of religion and the laws of government is often misunderstood or ignored by some people. They claim a right to substitute their religious convictions for their legal obligations. Disunity and strife often follow. In conclusion, although I've been honored by your invitation to speak at this breakfast every year I've been governor, I keep wondering, why me? After all, I was invited to give a homily at one church in 1982, and I wasn't invited back for 22 years. Well, sure enough, I recently discovered from Ward and Steve that this gathering was originally called the Governor's Prayer Breakfast, which remains its name in most states. However, Governor Al Quie, with his characteristic wisdom, suggested changing the name, saying that its purpose should be not to pray for the governor, but more importantly, to pray for all Minnesotans. Which reminded me of a story told and verified by the Library of Congress about the United States Senate's chaplain, whose duties included opening each session of that body with a prayer. In 1903, one of the chaplain's friends asked him, "So, every day you pray for the Senate?" "No," the chaplain replied, "every day I look at the Senate and I pray for the country." Thus, my good friend Ward Brem is standing here patiently, not to pray for me, but to look at me and pray for Minnesota. Thank you very much. Thank you.